Welcome back to the part two of the forceful amalgamation document of Britain against the indigenous people of the land of one Nigeria. With me in the studio is Obi Biafra. Obi Biafra, say hi to Biafrans before we join our dragon. There were.
Hello, Biafrans, lovers of freedom. Welcome again on our channel. I remain Obiada Biafra from Chicago, one and only. Make sure anywhere you're joining us, hit the like button, share it. Freedom is not given, it is taken. Keep fighting. Whatever you are doing today, your like, your comment, your share, your subscription, all of them follow for what we are doing. We must go home. Thank you.
People can look into that and
absolutely, yes. www.csi. That's
Was it
Christian
love or
Solidarity
the great
International.
passion for Nigeria or Africa or black people in general that moved the British government to join the two protectorates? Let us not be naive. The British do not make such decisions out of sentiments. It was money. The British amalgamated Nigeria basically due to economic reasons. They knew that Nigerians are different people, and that as soon as they packed their bags and returned to Europe, the country would descend into chaos. But they joined the two protectorates together nonetheless. Everything Lord Lugard did was in the interest of the crown. Remember, Nigeria was not independent at the time and had no say in the issue. So how did money cause the amalgamation? The Southern economically buoyant and so generated more than enough revenue for its territory. This was due to the fact that the people produced enough food, spices, oil, and other agricultural products like cotton and sugar cane in abundance, further boosted due to the closeness to the sea. The Northern Protectorate, on the other hand, rate enough. In fact, if the Northern Protectorate continued to stand alone, the British government earned their lands and registered into the British Commonwealth to sustain the Northern Territory. Frederick Lugard sought to avoid that and so devised the Protectorate. But how could that be done without raising technical and administrative issues or even starting civil war? The answer word, amalgamation. With the amalgamation of Nigeria came a single vast territory which produced tin, animal skins, coal, cotton, cocoa, palm oil, and so many other resources, all for export in huge quantities to Britain. They even had seaports in several locations. Amalgamation made Nigeria a gold mine for the British, a truly profitable venture indeed. This visionary leadership brought high praise for Lord Frederick Lugard at the Queen's Court in England, but has raised a lot of boiling issues today. At this point, you must be wondering about the effects of the amalgamation of Nigeria. There were only 28 persons involved in the so-called amalgamation of January 1914. While 6 persons were Nigerians, the rest 22 were British, including Frederick Lugard himself, the architect of the amalgamation, and the first Governor-General Louis Harcourt, the Secretary of State for the British colonies, and other European officers in charge of the 2 protectorates. The following were the only natives officially involved in the amalgamation ceremony: a lawyer, Sir Kitoyi Ajasa, Yoruba; His Highness Sianbola Onikipe Oladigbolu I, Alafin of Oyo, Yoruba; Honorable R. Henshaw, Obong of Calabar, Efik; Honorable Maiturare Tulumi and Sultan of Sokoto, Fulani; Akar Shehu of Borno, Kanuri; Honorable Usuman Emir of Kano, Fulani. No Igbo man who has the highest population is even represented in the fraud arrangement. No person of Yoruba extraction signed it. Only 2 Yoruba sons were present at the obnoxious charade: Oba Sianbola Onikepe Ladigbolu, the Alafin of Oyo, 1911 to 1944, and Sir Kitoyi Ajasa, a Lagos lawyer, representing the African community in Lagos as a legislative council member of the colony since 1902. They were not part of the signatories. The British represented themselves on both sides and signed the documents on their behalves. Therefore, the document does not bind us in any form whatsoever. You should observe that there was more Fulani Northern presence than any other Nigerians in the signage. The pact between the British and the Northern Fulani oligarchy had been sealed for over a century, and what we complain of today should never be a surprise to anyone who knows history. We are merely slaves living out the dreams and arrangements of unconcerned bourgeoisies, the British and the Fulani imperialists. So Nigeria must be recognized as a business interest which the British imperialists, a foreign people, bequeathed to their partners, the Fulani imperialists, also a foreign people, upon their camouflaged departure from Nigeria in 1960, to safeguard and to use for the mutual interests of both. The indigenous people and the actual owners of the land were never intended to be part of the equation.
You must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we're making, and you must listen to him. Very, very important.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the program this evening. From my end, you are watching live and direct on Enter Biafra Channel 2. You are watching and listening to Voice of Biafra 97.5 FM in Biafra land. And today being 18th of April 2023. And we are here to continue the uncovering of the Amalgamation of Nigeria 1914. The problem we have today, the reason we are being butchered, massacred, the reason we are facing existential threat, and every problem you have today in Nigeria is emanating from this particular document. So a lot of people have been hearing 1914 amalgamation. Nobody has ever, many people have not set their eyes on the document. So now we have the document of this amalgamation. We have every details to how Nigeria was amalgamated. We have the document showing why it was done so, or why it was amalgamated. We have the document showing the problems of the Fulanis, the northern Nigeria and the southern Nigeria. We have of this problem, and because for you to solve a problem, you need to know the root cause of the problem. So we have been able to identify the problem not just by antecedent, not just by by issues that are happening, not just by cases, not just by history, but we have fact, and they are all in the papers. Somebody is saying that my face is not friendly. Yes, I've been very, very tired and working, so, but I'm back and I'm normal. So yesterday we did not come live because of a meeting that lasted for a very long time, like I expected, but today I am here. So we're going to read spend at least 1 hour reading the documents, and then we'll continue again tomorrow. It's going to take time. I said we're going to spend like days bringing this particular document to the public. So let us start without wasting any time. Here we go. The character of British administration. The divergent conditions which have described geographically, ethnographically, and climate, together with the very different manner in which the two countries had come under the direct control of the crown, had, as was to be expected, profoundly influenced the form which British administration took in each. The early administration in the south were confined to the coast area, where a large revenue was at the hand from the duties imposed on imported trade, spirit. Small though the duties were at that time. Access to the interior was the first desideratum, the creation of roads through the primeval bush, the clearing of waterway block with sod, and later the creation of a port at the Lagos and the commencement of the railway. Any coherent policy of native administration was well nigh impossible in such circumstances, and the material was very unpromising except among the tribes in the hinterland of Lagos. Gradually, the wall of opposition which barred access to the interior was broken down. So I remember that I explained this Today is 18. Somebody say retweet. It is 17. Okay. I remember that this is where I stopped the other day. So let me check. Today is 18. So where are you seeing 17, please? Where is the person seeing 17? It is 18 on Twitter. And if you are watching from Twitter, today is 18. So where is the person talking about 17 coming from? So if you are watching from Twitter, please switch to Enter Biafra. That reminds me. Switch to Enter Biafra and let us continue. We're going to cut you off from Twitter. We need to start learning how to use our own platform. It's very important. We know what we are spending to build this platform. It is for us. So you don't, we cannot have our platform and then you don't use it. We have our own. Not when they block you, you start running down here. So you come here now and watch and listen to what we are doing from here. Is it because Biafra, if Biafra is the owner of Twitter, all of you will not even go there. So here is our own, and we must continue to make our broadcast here. So join us on Enter Biafra. Thank you. All right. And I continue. So the person that is saying today is 18. Today is 18, and it is there on Twitter. All right. So the wall is broken down. Systematic penetration of the almost wholly unexplored country east of the Niger began in 1900. So the Ruga started as far back as 1900 when the penetration of the South started. And in 1902, the Arrow fetish, whose ramification extended throughout the eastern portion of the country, a cult of human sacrifice, If it is showing April 17, you watch it like that. I do not know where somebody is seeing April 17. If it is showing April 17, watch it like that. Thank you. Whose ramification extend throughout the eastern portion of the country, a cult of human sacrifice and slavery was crushed by force of arms. Now, the inauguration of the British rule in the north was in strong contrast. Here, the chartered company, restricted by financial consideration, had been compelled to confine their depot chiefly to the banks of the Niger and Benue rivers. The very existence of any organized government was threatened by the haughty insolence of the Fulani armies. Fulani armies was a threat. The condition of Brno, where the French had intervened, compelled immediate action. Nothing could be done until a force strong enough to cope with this powerful emirate had been created, called a powerful emirate. The West African Frontier Force was raised in 1898-99, and on its return from its successful campaign in Ashanti, the task of dealing with the Muslim emirate was undertaken. I want you people to understand that as far back as 1898 and 1999, the British Army already started war with the emirate, Muslim emirate. Look at Muslim emirate. The war against Muslim emirate was undertaken. The question you should be asking yourself, what has changed today that all of a sudden the British embraced the Muslim? Muslim emirate undertaken in 1902 to 1903. Katagora, the noted slave raider who had boasted that, like a cat with a mouse, he would die with a slave in his mouth, was the first to be cursed. And I want you people to understand that, what this particular Amalgamation of Nigeria report is showing you is that it is evidently clear that the slave trade was being facilitated by the Fulanis and the Muslims. They were the one. So if you are going to be punishing the white people for engaging in slave trade, those who facilitated in stealing people, abducting and kidnapping and selling them are the Fulanis. As you can see here, I have not seen any Igbo man that is known for slave trade, at least not from the report of the British. But from what we have seen so far, the people that have been stealing, kidnapping people and selling them as slaves are the Fulanis. Nupe, who had also threatened the existence of the new administration, followed. Borno overrun by Barabe army from the Egyptian Sudan, which in had been defeated in the British territory by a French force itself under government and general motherland force. En route, theater brought Bauchi under control, and its emir was deposed in reprisal for the ruthless massacre of the people of Gauran. Zaria offered no opposition to the peaceful occupation, but the murder of Captain Maloney, resident of Kefi, precipitated hostilities with Kano. The fall of the great city and that of Sokoto in March 1903 was followed by the submission of the minor emirate, and convinced those who had already submitted that their belief that the British would be exterminated by these powerful emirs was dead. When this had been accomplished and the forces of disorder had been broken, the British administration was faced with the insistent urgency of creating a new organization and of developing a native policy without delay. The system evolved will be described in a later paragraph. I want you people to understand that the war we are facing today, the enemy we are facing today, was before Nigeria amalgamation very, very brutal and very violent. That is their nature. The same thing they are doing to us today, they did it to the Britain. And so it took Britain, a lot of, energy and resources to defeat them. So today we are going to apply more of the power and energy and resources to also defeat them, because they are now in the government. They are now the government themselves. This was when they are not in the government. This was when the British was the one controlling, and you can see the kind of terrorism, the terror, method on the people, including the kidnapping for slave trade and all that. So this terrorism of the North did not start today. That is the difference between us. The necessity of securing means wherewith to carry on the administration was no less instant than the reorganization of the native administration. There was no revenue to be got from spirit. You see, the North was not, the British was not getting any revenue from the spirit. As you can see, the same thing is happening today. They destroy alcohols in the North, while in the South, we sell alcohol and use the proceeds of the alcohol to furnish and develop the North. That is incongruous, which were wholly prohibited. You see, they said there was no revenue to be got from spirit, which were wholly prohibited, while the cost of the large force necessary for the control of the country absorbed the greater part of wholly inadequate grant from the imperial government. So, as far back as that time, the northern Nigeria already prohibited alcohol because of the Islamic doctrine. They prohibited it, and the British was losing because nobody is drinking alcohol. Just like what they did today, they destroy alcohol of Nigerians. Necessity for amalgamation. Here is where we are going to read today and stop, and then wait for the next day where we are going to continue. Stated the amalgamation. A. Finance. The reason why they join you and Northern Fulani Caliphate in this Nigeria today that some of you are dying for is because of finance. Are you aware of that? Do you know that the reason they join you and Nigeria, Northern Nigeria together is because of finance? Are you aware of that? Maybe you don't know. Today I have come. You are going to know why. Somebody is saying that the audio is cracking. All right. Somebody is saying it is not cracking. You know, so some of these people coming here to distract us. All right. So we continue. The reason is finance. Finance, finance, finance. They have, number one reason is finance. Number two reason is railway. So there is only two reasons to amalgamate Nigeria. Finance and, you see, Nigeria was never amalgamated for the interest of the people. Okay? That's one thing you should learn today from this broadcast. It was never for the interest of the people. It was for financial benefit. And that is why everything about Nigeria, including those who find themselves in the leadership in Nigeria, is all about how to make money. It's a business. It's a scam. Money, finance. And we see it in the government of Nigeria from the beginning to this day. It's about making money, impoverishing people, looting the money, scandal, scam, and all that. Because the foundation of Nigeria was about finance. It's a company. Nigeria is a company. So it has to do with finance. Now, so the Britain did not say, oh, amalgamating Nigeria will make Nigeria become like Dubai. They did not say amalgamating Nigeria will make you to have hospital. Amalgamating Nigeria will make you to start building industries. No, it was finance. Now let us go and read why you were amalgamated. Some of these idiots that are defending Nigeria today, that are dying for one Nigeria, do not know why you have a Nigeria. You don't know why you amalgamated the North and the South, and you become one Nigeria that you are dying for without having the knowledge of what led to the amalgamation of Nigeria. So let us read. Finance. A. The necessity for amalgamation. A. Finance. Such, in brief, were the antecedent which had given to the North and the South their divergent characteristics and policies. In 1906, a further step in amalgamation was effected in the South. Southern Nigeria and Lagos became one administration under the title of the colony and protectorate of Southern Nigeria. From this date, the material prosperity of the South increased with astonishing rapidity. The liquor, which is alcohol, the liquor that was being prohibited in the North, and the British were losing money, the Unilever, which is the company, was losing money for alcohol, it increased in the South. The liquor duty increased from 3 cents in 1901 to 3 cents to 6D in 1905. Stood at 5 cents, 5D a gallon in 1912. So increased by 2% or so. And afforded an ever increasing revenue without any denomination in the quantity imported. They yielded a sum of £1,138,000 in 1913. Now, here is where the mistake is. Okay? They look at the economic benefit, financial benefit of merging the southern Nigeria in Lagos. They merge the south. When I say south, we are talking about the eastern region and the western region, the southwest region. They merge them together and it become more profitable. Okay? And the scale of preferences used is based on the liquor, the alcohol. It is based on liquor. The liquor they sold, they made profit. So for that reason, they decided that, if joining the South together can bring this kind of revenue from liquor, then it is a good to the North also. But what they understand, that the same liquor in which scale of preferences was used to amalgamate Nigeria did not sell in the North. Do you understand? The liquor was prohibited in the North. So even if you have, for them to understand that something is wrong, which they so they use the scale of preference in the South and make a profit in it. You don't liquor in the North. When in the North, they are prohibited of alcohol. Let me use alcohol for people to understand. In the North, they have alcohol. In the South, alcohol was being sold and the business booming for the British. And today, the same alcohol is still prohibited in the North. And alcohol is being sold in the South. And they're making money. I want you to understand that after 100 years, the problem that British saw before the amalgamated Nigeria have increased even to the worst level. The state is increased. Today they are destroying alcohol in the North. Businesses of Biafra people. Now, I want you to also let us read the second reason for amalgamation. The second reason. So let us continue. In the North, largely dependent on animal grant from the imperial government, was barely balanced with the most parsimonious economy and was starved of the unnecessary staff and unable to find fund to house its officers properly. So it emerges where concentrated upon the development of the native administration and the revenue resulting from direct taxation. Its distance from the coast, 250 miles, rendered the expansion of trade difficult. The anomaly was presented of a country with an aggregated revenue practically equal to its need, but divided into two by an arbitrary line of latitude. One portion was dependent on a grant paid by the British taxpayer, which in the year before amalgamation stood at. Are you people hearing? One part of the northern Nigeria grant cannot produce anything. They cannot make any profit. There is nothing to show for it. They depended on grant from the British government. Part of the northern Nigeria. That particular position of depending on grant have not changed after over 100 years. They still depend on grant. After 100 years, northern Nigeria cannot produce most of anything. They come today to deceive you. They have animals. They have food. They have this, have that one, that, and they don't know history. Of course, everything has changed. Maybe they can do better. But let me also remind you that before 1914, Northern Nigeria could not afford to pay staff. Even their housing, they starved them because of their doctrine, because of their policies, nomadic policy, because of their unproductive policies and unproductive culture. While the South was booming. Do you understand? What I'm telling you today is that the reason for this have not changed. Not 1914 is the same thing there. In fact, today they are worse. And if you keep quiet and don't join us to fight for your freedom, you are going to go back to the situation like how they are. Because what they do is that they will conquer you and make you be like them. That is happening now in Nigeria economy. Look at where the Nigerian economy was during Jonathan, even though there was corruption and all that. Today, they have destroyed the economy, they have destroyed everything, and you come back to square one. And then, when this man came to power in 2015, bag of rice was sold at about 7,000 naira. Today, the bag of rice is 40,000. And then after you suffer, after a while, the bag of rice will come back and you start praising them. That, the bag of rice is cheap now. They are now selling at 27,000. You forgot that it was 7,000 just a few years ago. And what is causing all this problem? Because it is the nature, their nature, incompatible. We can never be one. The same thing that happened before Nigeria amalgamation is happening right before your own face. And when we talk about Biafra, you want to kill Samaripa. You say it is Nigeria because you have no knowledge about anything, because you are a criminal and the only thing you are interested in how to steal money, how to be given appointment in Nigeria state, how you can phone money and loot and become rich. That's all. You don't care about anybody. But I'm telling you today that what led to this amalgamation was a conspiracy against the indigenous people, the Biafra people and the Yoruba people. It was a conspiracy. You can't deprive the opportunity I have and pay order and use one person or another person. That is what is happening in Nigeria today. And that's going to fight, because we're going to do everything humanly possible to exit Nigeria. This war, if it is war, it is going to end. We will fight that war. You know, I've been saying this thing, some of you don't believe me. I know that now you'll be seeing some people, maybe you will believe when the time comes. But what we are saying is that enough is enough. A lot of things have changed. Not have had is strong that they can actually be very comfortable with their. And this is everything is digital, so North is going to progress this time around, unlike before. Once we exit Nigeria, we sit up. But with this particular structure we have today, North can never sit up. They can never ever sit up. It is in their blood and it is in their nature. That's why Nigeria can never work, because they have occupied sensitive positions that could propel the nation to move forward, and they can never move forward because that is not their nature. So before you fight for one Nigeria, know the history of Nigeria. Okay? Know the history of those who you are calling Nigeria with. Know the history of those who you are addressing as Nigerians. Know the history, how they come. Know the history of their culture. Know how they run administration. Know how they run government. Know how they think, their ideologies. Know everything about them, so that you can know what you are fighting for. Some of the people fighting for Nigeria today, what they are fighting for. That's why it became very important that we begin to do this kind of, with the original document leading to the amalgamation of Nigeria. And I want to show you today that nothing has changed from that time till now. So when do you think something is going to change? If the British government could not solve the problem of northern Nigeria, is it P2B that is going to solve it? Could not solve the problem northern Nigeria, they invested billions and billions of it. Do you understand? And when they could not solve it, what did they do? They pushed the problem to the southern Nigeria. Deal with it. And they left. In a very short and a very brief explanation, the British, let me show you. This is the problem. The whole of the problem you see today in Nigeria is here. I want to bring it to the screen very well. You see this test here is the problem you are facing today in Nigeria. The British could not solve the problem. What did they do? They pushed it to the south. They said, let me read it again. The north largely dependent on the annual grant. They largely depended on the, they gave them annual grant. They could not generate any GDP. They could not generate any revenue. They could not generate anything. Not largely dependent on the annual grant from the imperial government. They say was barely able to balance. The north was barely able to balance its budget. The same budget that they can never balance today. The same thing is happening now. And let me, let me bring this one. You see this thing that you see the same thing that North did before the amalgamation of Nigeria is happening here.
The lawmakers expressed displeasure with the Registrar of the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies, Mohammed Abdullahi, over non-remittance of over 300 million naira revenue generated to the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
We were able to pay 30 million naira out of exams in a year. We have spent 380 something million, and we are here to collect another budget from the federal government. I haven't contributed just 35 million. And if they ask for a budget there, they'll be telling me in the region of 10 to 20 billion. 5,963 members of staff arranging for one examination in a year and being paid 8.5 billion and now generating only 410, out of which you remit only 35 billion. There is a need to look deeper into what this is about.
The committee resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate activities of the institution.
Now, we need to investigate deeper the history of that comment. What is she going to investigate? If that woman know the history of Nigeria, she would not make investigate. If the government could not solve this problem, they push it to the south. And now, and get ourselves out of this mess. This is where the whole of Nigeria problem lies, largely dependent on the annual grant from the imperial government to balance its budget. They don't balance the budget before
The lawmakers expressed the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies, Mohammed Abdullahi, of over 300 million naira revenue generated to the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
We were able to
they cannot buy today. I want you people to understand. I'm saying you will all die miserably. Begin to listen to the word coming from us. All of you, one Nigerians, will die miserably, very miserably. The policy of the government cannot change. They could not balance 1914. Now they are pumping billions into Islam. They cannot balance the budget of the Islamic study in 2000.
30 million naira. Out of this 410. To conduct an exams in a year, they are saying they have spent 380 something million. We are here to collect another budget from the federal. Haven't contributed just 35 million. And if they ask for their budget there, they'll be telling me in the region of 10 to 20 billion naira. 5,963 members of staff arranging for one examination in a year and being paid 8.5 billion. And now
Being paid 8.5 billion, they can never ever balance the budget.
generating only 410, out of which
After paying 8 billion, they generate 400 million. Is a complete loss. The same policy that they were doing before the amalgamation of Nigeria, the same policy, invest 80 billion, get 400 million naira in return. What kind of how do you run a country like that? And this is the nature of every government department in Nigeria. Every sector of the government, they run it. The one that Fulani controls, even the one that the Southerners controls, because they have already influenced them. That most of them now think like Fulanis. They are not interested in development. They are interested in siphoning the money, looting it. Parasite. If in 1914, before that, these people cannot balance budget, you invest 8 billion and get 400 million in return. What do you expect to get? You expect to get the deteriorating state of the nation of Nigeria, like you see today, a country of, because it's not a nation.
you remit only 35 billion.
Okay.
There is a need to look deeper into what this is about.
The committee.
You see, there is a need to look deeper into what this is about. There is no need to look into deeper. We are bringing it to you to show you what this is all about. It is all about the fact that you are all non-entity. It is all about that you are all stupid and idiot because you can't read your history. So that when you are being confronted with this kind of situation, you are going to address them properly because they know, but they also know that you don't know. So you continue to confront them objectively with fact and figures. How can you are serving Nigeria and you don't know anything about Nigeria? You are serving Nigeria, you don't know anything about the people that are ruling you. You don't know their history. And you say there is a need to look deeper. Who is going to look deeper into it? Nobody. All these things they are doing here, it ends there. It ends there. Right there. Nobody can do it. You say we are going to look back. We are going to play the video again.
The lawmakers expressed displeasure with the Registrar of the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies, Mohammed Abdullahi, over non-remittance of over 300 million naira revenue generated to the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
Who are able to pay such.
And I want you people to understand, what we hear is that they refuse to generate over 400 million naira. They generated. So the federal government invested 8 billion. 8 billion. They invested 8 billion. And in return, they generated 400 million. Honestly, I've never seen anything like this. Okay? Where you make investment of 8 billion and only to get 400 million. And in that 400 million, they remitted only 35 million. Can you imagine? And 365 million gone, with nobody can account for it. Okay? So I want you to watch.
Mohammed Abdullahi with a non-remittance of over 300 million naira revenue generated Consolidated Revenue Fund.
We are able to pay 30 million naira out of this 410. To conduct an exams in a year, they are saying they have spent 380 something million. And we are here to collect another budget from the federal government. I haven't contributed just 35 million. And if they ask for their budget there, they'll be telling me in the region of 10 to 20 billion naira. 5,963 members of staff are ranging for one examination in a year and being paid 8 billion and now generating only 410, out of which you remit only 35 million. There is a need to look deeper into what this is about.
The committee resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate activities of the institution.
Now, they said they want to set up ad hoc committee to investigate this. It's rubbish. If they know whom they are partnering with in one Nigeria, they will be ashamed of themselves. They will know that all this setting up committee, this ad hoc committee, and this is nonsense. The British could not solve it. Is it you that will solve it? I am asking you. Because their life and their nature is not the same. It's not progressive. All they are after is Islamic State. All they are after is Sharia law. I want you, all of you, to understand today, those of you that are waiting for P2B or waiting for anybody, you are all fools because you don't know your history. Something that the British could not solve, something that nobody could solve for the past 100 years. Is it P2B that we know that is going to solve it? I am mentioning P2B because that's where even some of them are using my video now to to talk about me, talk about P2B. So I'm asking you, is it P2B or who do you think will solve the problem of the North? And let me tell you, the North don't have problem. I have to come from this particular perspective. The North don't have problem. To us is a problem. To the British government is a problem. But to them, it's not a problem. That is their way of life. You can't change it. So what we are saying is that this way of life is not compatible with us. So let us not see it as is a problem. Let us not see it as if Nigeria divide today and Biafra leave, North is going to suffer. No! It is us that we are going to be looking at them as if they are going to suffer. It is their nature. It is not a problem. So we must be able to, we have to be very, very, very blunt in telling this truth. That when we say it's a problem, it's not a problem to them. I want people to understand that the people that conquered northern Nigeria are nomadic people. They don't live in house. They live in the bush. They live in the forest. They sleep with cows and sleep with animals. So you don't expect them to be progressive. That lifestyle they are living is progressive to them. Their religion is what they want. That is everything they need. They don't need to live in a glass house like you in the south, like me. They don't need to eat good food like you and like me. They don't need to have money like billions in their account like me and you, even though some of them now are having money and you can't see the money anywhere. They use it to purchase arms and ammunition to do terrorism. You can't see it anywhere. You can't see the money in their body. You can't see them wearing expensive clothes. You can't see them doing anything reasonable in any community. Because it is their lifestyle and their nature. But you in the south, if you have $1, people will know that you have $1. You are going to live good. You want to eat the best food. So when we are saying they have problem, they don't have problem. Now the same thing is repeating itself. And this woman is saying they are going to set ad hoc committee to look into the culture of people to look into the way of life of people, how are you going to change that? Something that was there before 19, and the culture have not changed, and it is now. You are going to change it? That is absurd. So let us read completely before, because this is very important. This is the most important section of this broadcast today. Now, I want you to understand, this thing continues. They say that I'm going to repeat it again because the repetition is something that is necessary in this kind of exposition. Largely dependent on the annual imperial government. The same going to the Islamic study today because of investment was barely budget with the most serious economy and was starved of the necessary staff and unable to find fund to house its staff, its officers properly. The same thing the Islamic study have come to National Assembly to do. After 8 billion was spent, they could not pay 5,000 staff because they can't generate more than 400 million. The Northern and Islamic study. Its energies were concentrated upon the development of the native administration and the revenue resulting from the direct taxation. Its distance from the coast 250 miles rendered the expansion of the trade difficult. Thus, the anomaly was presented of a country with an aggregate revenue practically equal to its need. Are you hearing that? And that time, the revenue, I want you people to understand that time, they say that its distance from the coast, 250 miles, rendered the expansion of trade difficult. Now, I want you people to understand that before 1914, they said the anomaly was presented of a country, which is from northern Nigeria, of a country with an aggregate revenue practically equal to its need. So what they say, what they are trying to tell you is that before 1914, the aggregate revenue of northern Nigeria is equal to its need. So which means if they generate 500 million, the need is 500 million. So they have nothing to offer. I want people to understand though, now in 2023, it is no longer that the aggregate revenue is equal to its need. No. The situation now is that when the need is 8 billion, the revenue is 400 million. I am telling you, it is here. So the situation is worse. It's times 1,000 worse than as it was before 1914. Today, in 1914, from the perspective of, from this particular perspective, we'll be spending 8 billion annually. They will generate exact 8 billion. But today, they are spending 8 billion and they are generating 400 million. Not even 1 billion. Not even half, not even 1/4 of the amount invested. So, and this is the way it is going to go worse and worse and worse and worse at every year that come and pass by. And yet, some people don't calculate these things, how it has affected your hospitals, how it has affected your life, how you don't have good road, why the money is being wasted on people that are stagnant in life. People are not interested. You come to America, you live in America, and you are happy, you are supporting one Nigeria. Meanwhile, they should have been used to develop your own country to be like America that you are living and bragging, is being used to sustain people that have nothing to offer, to sustain people that don't need the money. Because the truth is that They don't need the money. It is only few people among them that need the money and they are rich. And they don't use that money to do anything in their own community. They can't build road in their own community. They can't build hospital in their own. They have absolutely nothing to contribute in their own community. They use the money to develop Arab countries. Not you. They use the money to fund terrorists. And you sit in America as an educated man. Your education is useless. Because if you cannot make this simple arithmetic that I'm doing today, if you cannot think this logic, thing I'm thinking today objectively to see the need for you to make a U-turn immediately and support Biafra government in exile and let us move this mountain once and for all, then it means that your word and your years of education is wasted years. It is wasted years. If you are still expecting for Peter Obi to win in court and come to do, you are a wasted human being. Honestly. Because what I'm doing here is king of fake news. Is what I'm doing fake news? No. Because read Samanepa is king of fake news. Never had the opportunity to listen when I make exposition. They never have the time to listen to me when I make sense and talk and analyze issues objectively. They never had the opportunity to listen. They just read in the news. Samanepa is king of fake news. I don't know which fake news I've carried. Now I'm here telling you a practical thing that northern Nigeria doesn't need money. Money is not their nature. Northern Nigeria does not need development. Development is not their nature. Because the people that have conquered them through terrorism, Usman Dan Fodio, they call them Fulani. It is here in British report. They say Fulani, and Fulani are nomadic. Nomadic doesn't live in a house. Nomadic they are not interested in development. And the northern Nigeria have embraced them. And they have conquered them with terrorism. So you can't force people to be what they are not. Just like the way we cannot be Muslim, you can't force northern Nigeria, especially the Fulanis, to begin to build towers in the north. You can't force them. It is impossible. Who is going to stay in tower? What are they going to do in tower? But we, in Biafra land, we are going to build tower. We need tower. We want development. We want to beautify our cities. We want our cities to look good. We want to live good life. So why are you forcing people to development that they are not? When they are telling you that we are eradicating innovation and we are embracing Sunai. It is there. We have posted that video before. This is it, the picture. Eradication of innovation and embracing Sunai. This is the agenda of the nomadic Fulanis. This is the agenda of the people ruling Nigeria from the north. So why would you be expecting them to build good road, build good hospital, and you want to go to north and you don't see people on the street begging for food? I want every Nigerian watching me today, those who are yet to be delivered, to understand that you can never change northern Nigeria. It is their nature. Do not pity them. Because I have heard all this kind of thing that, oh, if you go to northern Nigeria, you are going to pity them. Why are you pitying them? That is their nature of life. You don't need to go and start pitying somebody who is living his fullest life because of his nature. And because you are not like that, you are pitying them. Oh, in the north, people are dying, hungry everywhere. Children are begging for food. It is their nature to beg. But it is not you. It is not your nature. So we must understand our differences. We must understand where we are different culturally, and otherwise. And this lifestyle is one of the differences we have. That you cannot force a northern Nigeria person to be expecting big life. That's why when they are coming to your place, they carry kettle. They carry kettle and one bag. Because it is their life. When you are going to their place, you carry big bag. You carry everything. You carry good cloth and you want to go and stay in hotel. Have you seen a Fulani man coming to your place and stay in hotel? No. They will go to the bush where other Fulani people are staying. So why do you now worry about the people that are living like that? Not the same thing with you. I want us to, because this is very important. So now let us continue. Now, they said, its distance from this, okay, I've read this before, let us continue from there. Choose, the anomaly was presented of a country with an aggregate revenue practically equal to its need, but divided into two by an arbitrary line of latitude. One portion was dependent on a grant paid by the British taxpayer, which in the year before amalgamation, just in the year before amalgamation, stood at 136,000 pounds, had average 314,500 pounds for the 11 years ending March 1912. So what they are trying to tell you is that for the past 11 years, the British has been making money from the south and paying grant to the north. And you know, the same mistake the British made is the same mistake we are being forced to make today. Thinking that, you know, this northern Nigeria need help. They don't need help. They don't, I am telling you the fact. I want you to begin to change your mental state. Think differently. Think differently. You know, the British was giving them grants. They don't need grants because they are nomadic. They drink cow from milk from cow directly. They eat nunu. They eat how they feed. They don't need to come and start pounding apple and pounding yam like we do. No. They don't need to start going to the market to cook rice and cook ugu. No. They don't need to start. We are the ones that do that. They don't even eat their cow. We eat it. Well, of course, not anymore. They can't afford to kill their cow and eat it. We buy and kill it and give them money. So they don't need all these things. Now today, British was busy giving them 300,000 pounds for complete 11 years. 11 good years that have been giving them grant to live. So they were actually living on the money Britain was making from southern Nigeria, because they were making money from southern Nigeria. And the money was being used to feed the north. The same thing is happening today. Nothing have changed. Nothing have changed. And the Britain is trying to also make you to continue their policy that failed them. The policy of you must stay in one Nigeria. Let us use our money and our sweat and our future to feed the north that does not need the money because of their nature. They don't need it. North does not need to live in a glass house because it is not their nature to live in a glass house. But the Britain is telling you that you must use your money and build glass house in the north. The same thing they did, they are compelling us to do. And we are going to say enough is enough. It will stop this year. Believe me. Let us see how they are going to govern Biafra land. Is it not after 29th? Let them come and swear in. Let them do that swearing in of 29th May. We are going to see how they are going to govern Biafra land. You people don't know what is coming. Enough is enough. You can't be using our effort to compensate people that doesn't actually need to live like that, like us. And that is the reason why the government, Biafra Republic government in exile has been activated, and we are already in completion of forming the the cabinet, and very soon, of course, work is already going on. Work have already started, and so we are not going to waste any time. So we are going to quickly read the railway because tomorrow we continue again. Now, they say on one portion was a deposit of this. Now let us go to the railway. Six. This is the second reason for the amalgamation of Nigeria, the railway. To the financial dilemma, there was now added a very pressing difficulty in regards to railway policy and control. The North, to ensure the development of its trade and to secure its custom duties, commenced a railway from Baro, a port on the Niger, to Kano in 1906. The South responded by pushing on to Lagos Railway to the frontier and obtained the Secretary of State sanction to carry it onto the north, to effect a junction with the Barokano line to Atmena. In the opinion of Sir John Eguson, Director of Railway, the line, when it reached the northern Nigeria frontier of Ofa, should have crossed the Niger at Bateji, traversing a well-populated country and tapping the great trade center at Bida, Tus, avoiding the extremely costly and difficult bridge at Jeba and the uninhabited country to the north of it. The distance to Minna being precisely the same, but no single railway policy had been possible, and the two outlets to the sea were now at acute competition. And I want you people to understand that when I'm reading this thing, the thing is not showing on the screen. Sorry. When I'm reading this thing, it's not showing on the screen. You are going to hear me saying passing by a country and all that. You know, you find out that the country they are talking about is another between the north and south. So which means they are talking about the Benue, the today what you call the Middle Belt. Okay? Now, Major Wagon RE was sent out to report on two railways and to propose some system of joint use and control. He animadverted very strongly on the needless cost which had characterized the construction of the southern section of the Lagos line. It was full of sharp curves and dangerous gradient which had to be rectified at an expenditure of £200,000. It was stated that the section to Ibadan, which presented no special difficulties, has cost 2 million over £15,000 a mile. Immediate unification of the control with a view of checking extravagant was recommended. The advent of the railway, moreover, accentuated the need for appointment of custom duties collected at the port. The growing divergence of administrative method as the interior become open up in the south also called for a common policy. Now they started calling for a common policy when they actually have seen a divergent way of administration. In a long memorandum dated May 1905, while still High Commission of the Northern Nigeria, I advocated amalgamation, a policy supported by the High Commissioner of Southern Nigeria and the Governor of Lagos, and there was increasing evidence that it could no longer be postponed. Do you understand now? When this particular amalgamation of the North and South was reached, the opinion of the people of Nigeria who were in that place were not far. They say it's governor. Sorry. They say it's the governor of Lagos and governor of this and that. Sorry, I consulted. Let me get myself a water. Let me get myself some water, please.
Was it the great passion for Nigeria or Africa or black people in general that moved the British government to join the two protectorates? Let us not be naive. The British do not make such decisions out of sentiments. It was money. The British amalgamated Nigeria basically due to reasons. Nigerians are different people, and that as soon as they packed their bags and returned to Europe, the country descended into chaos. But they joined the two protectorates together nonetheless. Every Lord Lugard did interest the crown. Remember, Nigeria was independent at the time and had no issue. So it caused the amalgamation. The Southern Protectorate was economically buoyant and so generated more than enough revenue for the development of its territory. This was due to the fact that the people produced enough food, spices, palm oil, and other agricultural products like cotton and sugarcane in abundance, and this was further boosted due to the closeness to the sea. The Northern Protectorate, on the other hand, did not generate enough. In fact, if the Northern Protectorate continued to stand alone, the British government would not have a choice but to use their money earned from their ventures in other lands and registered into the British Commonwealth to sustain the Northern Territory. Frederick Lugard sought to avoid that and so devised the idea of taking the surplus from the Southern Protectorate and using that money to offset the deficit of the Northern Protectorate. But how could that be done without raising technical and administrative issues or even starting civil war? The answer was a clever word: amalgamation. With the amalgamation of Nigeria came a single vast territory which produced tin, animal skins, coal, cotton, cocoa, palm oil, and so many other resources, all for export in huge quantities to Britain. They even had seaports in several locations. Amalgamation made Nigeria a gold mine for the British, a truly profitable venture indeed. This visionary leadership brought high praise for Lord Frederick Lugard at the Queen's Court in England, but has raised a lot of boiling issues today. At this point, you must be wondering about the effects of the amalgamation of Nigeria.
All right, you're welcome back. You're welcome back. So, you all have just seen the reason why the amalgamation took place. By tomorrow, we are going to take you on the decision to amalgamate. Tomorrow, we are going to the decision to amalgamate toward the close of 1911. So, join us tomorrow as we bring you the decision to amalgamate, how they arrived at that decision, and explain it very well. Because this is a very important document that we need to take segment by segment. Okay? It's not something we are going to rush and give you the same day, using 4 hours. No. It's something that is going to take segment by segment. 1 hour teaching at a time. So on this note, I'm going to open the telephone line, and I want to hear your opinion on this particular groundbreaking uncovering of the amalgamation document that everybody has been talking about for many years. For the time since I was born, I've been hearing amalgamation. Nobody have actually seen the document of what led to the amalgamation and how the amalgamation was decided. Today you are seeing it live and direct, documented fact. It is not about somebody written somewhere. This is a document of 1914 that you are reading from our channel today. So let us hear your opinion from Enter Biafra channel 2 by logging in and calling us, and let us hear your opinion. We are moving forward, and the Biafra government in exile is making a very tremendous progress. Very, very tremendous progress, and in few days' time, you will know where we are. All right, the line is open, and we are going to take call for like 20 minutes or so. So give us a call. You're welcome. 20 minutes. 20 minutes of call. So I'm going to stop at exactly 150. Click the call and give us a call. Those of you that are watching through the Enter Biafra, just click the mic. Log in. You must log in order to click the mic. You must log in and either you can log in either using Facebook, Gmail, or registering to the website. Here we go. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah, hello Simon.
Hello.
Hello Simon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Simon. I can hear you, Simon.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon. My leader, you are my leader, you are my prime minister. I don't want to keep on thanking you every day because the whole world can see exactly what you are doing to us. And I pray that God Almighty will keep on sustaining you for us. You are called by Elohim, and He will continue to be your strength. So I just want to say something because as I was watching this your program today, somehow tears was coming down from my eye because I wonder how all these things that you are revealing to us will be a secret to all the Southerners. Why the Fulanis that we see them as Indic people or people that go to school, they have a very big knowledge of all these things that you're saying. The reason why I'm saying it is this. When you look at their actions, when you look at the way they behave, the way they talk, you will find out that they have full knowledge of every detail in this exposition.
Yes.
They know it more than everybody.
Yes, because
that's why one day one of them was saying that the oil in riverine area belongs to Jigawa.
Yes.
I know. I think you have come across that very video.
Yes, of course.
When that man was saying this thing, he was indirectly, mocking the South. He was indirectly telling the South that it has been like this from the beginning,
yes,
and it shall continue to be like that till the end of the ages.
Exactly.
But I thank God for this generation. I thank God for you. I thank God for Mazen Amdekalo. I thank God for IPOP members. I thank God for those that have stood up and decide that this time around it is not going to be so. I thank you very much, my Prime Minister. I pray that God Almighty will continue to strengthen you. Fear not, because I know our ancestors are with you. I have a vital information to give you, and I was waiting for a day like this, but I don't know how I will pass that information. It's about security, and I don't know. The other day I collected our phone number. I wanted to, pass the information through him, but I have been calling him since then. He hasn't picked my call, so I don't know. And it's a security issue. It's something concerning security.
Okay, if it's a security issue, you can write me an email, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, I will do that. At info at.
Write me email.
Okay.
You can write me at info@ekpa.fi.
I will do that. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, and remain blessed.
Thank you very much. All right, the line is on, and we still have a few minutes. Please, if you are calling, you make your opinion and your point very fast, so that other people will have the opportunity to talk. The line is open. Yes, this last caller actually. You're welcome to the program.
Good evening, Honorable Prime Minister.
Good evening from here.
I will speak our language because even though I will speak our language. Yeah. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening.
Okay, now let me speak in our language. It's our people direct. So even chonku this evening, one name madi jisike iya no kechi because even je kulo now because all this broke na body na internet na koli iwata because even je kulo na bu maka gunwa maka mazin na mo de kanu because even obo ni na aga dige now one mmadụ obi akụ na kwa okokoko because mgbe mazin na mo de kanu na hide people who tolie people kotalia himself uche mazi uche nyane ana abo mekoli ife uche mofo puta na internet aya na mode kuto onye jojo onye ibe puta na internet koto na mode koto onye kuto onye so even the agwari ife na abo ogwe pete angel dapo never look back. So even the go now, can do buy money for them because no buy no buy. So even the go now because all this idiot news in America. Anuma no na so isi. They cool. Pastor 419. One Obijo yi seek only na ro. Don't never look back. If I talk buka I want to Biafra, Chineke melige fere, and Chineke gane duku no jije namba tare. If obu ni laka gabo agamnero. One next time I lay number. That's my life code. And Antinya ke no one mother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. That's speaking in Igbo dialect. That's a Biafra. All right, the line is still on. 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 All right. You're welcome to the program.
His Excellency.
Ah, and there we
Your Excellency.
There we
The PL. You have government in exile.
There we watching it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What else can the British do if not to make sure? I hope I'm coming out clear.
You are coming out very, very clear.
Okay, what else can the British do if not to make sure they enslave the whole of Africa, especially the rising sun of Africa? And they came. They planted the governor in what they call the Lagos colony. They planted the governor in what they call the Southern Protectorate. They planted the governor or administrator in what they call the Northern Protectorate. And finally emerged the Lagos Protectorate and Southern Protectorate and became one. It is one of their greatest achievements. Before seeing who can produce, who has sufficient, and who doesn't have at all. And knowing that if they do not combine the North and South Protectorate, one, and start stealing from the North, it will trigger a very heavy civil war.
Yes.
So they advise themselves that this must be joined together as one entity. And during the analysis, one of them said, the person analyzing the last clip you played now, said that British already know that the moment they pack their bag and leave Nigeria, they have already created one of the highest chaos in the face of the earth, and it is playing out today. The North and the South were never the same. In fact, the entire South were never the same. The entire South were.
Oh, we lost you. We lost you. We lost you. We lost you. Call back. Call back. Network kick you out. The line is open. The line is open. The line is open. And I think open. Open. The line is open. All right. So as we are waiting for caller, let us go on break.
Was it love or the great passion for Nigeria or Africa or black people in general that moved the British government to join the two protectorates? Let us not be naive. The British do not make such decisions out of sentiments. It was money. The British amalgamated Nigeria basically due to economic reasons. They knew that Nigerians are different people, and that as soon as they packed their turn to would descend into chaos. But they joined the two protectorates together nonetheless. Lord did crown. Remember, Nigeria was not independent at the time and had no say in the issue. So how did money cause the amalgamation? The Southern Protectorate was economically buoyant and so generated more than enough revenue for the development of its territory. This was due to the fact that the people produced enough food, spices, palm oil, and other agricultural products like cotton and sugarcane in abundance, and this was further boosted due to the closeness to the sea. The Northern Protectorate, on the other hand, did not generate enough. In fact, if the Northern Protectorate continued to stand alone, the British government would not have a choice but to use.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome to the program.
Good evening, Master Simon.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm calling you from Canada.
You're welcome.
I've been looking forward to speak with you, but thank God I've gotten you now.
You're welcome.
Continue the good work. The consistency is what we want to know. And today it has yielded a great result.
Yes.
We are glad to have you.
Thank you very much. All right. I think I lost him. You're welcome to the program. Hello. All right, we have 7 minutes to go. We have 7 minutes time to go. Hello. Hello. Are you there? All right, he's not talking. I think still have 7 minutes to go. You're welcome to the program.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know where I stopped then. But what I was saying is that the British know exactly what they did, and their interest is not on human resource. Their interest was on our natural resource. I know that the South is more prosperous than any other part. And when you come to the South, the east part of the South is more prosperous than any other part. So they have to rob it out to pay Paul. And they use the Fulanese as a willing tool to subdue the South. Because before now, the Fulanese have been a threat to they took us for granted, and today it's no longer to be the same. How I wish you were in the forefront of this struggle from 2014 up to now. By now we're supposed to have been home, because Nigeria don't need a petty hand. They need just an iron hand, which you have. And don't mind that Pastor Deadstone that they called him. We have already passed their course. All the zoo pastors who think that they can use prophecy and a useless philosophy to imprison our people. We have passed their course 3 years back.
You don't need to.
PST 101.
You don't need to come here to validate a non. Once we are pronouncing them expelled and excommunicated, they become completely irrelevant from that particular day going forward.
So I'm very sorry for even bringing that idiot on limelight. So you should get ready. This is the best time to quit Nigeria. Just as the arithmetic you did during the election. Say if we did not vote, we have already destroyed Nigeria, and it came to pass. Yes. And the next phase is this between 29th and 30th.
You know that. Well, you know that. Last caller. And then this broadcast will be available, to enter Biafra on the same link immediately after the broadcast. So normally, when we have a broadcast like this, you wait for like a few minutes, the broadcast will be uploaded. It will be uploaded to the website on the same link. You're welcome to the program. This one is making noise. So we have to cut him off and wait for another person. All right, you're welcome to the program.
Yes, you're welcome. Our PM, Able PM.
You're welcome.
From this, your explanation, you get some confusion with detail.
Go ahead.
The confusion, now one, I hear say groundnut pyramid feed Nigeria after the amalgamation. Then when Sanusi and Ango Abdullahi, they get some altercation. Sanusi say the North are poor and unresourceful. And Ango Abdullahi, one of the elder of the Northern Elder Forum, also a prominent member of Nieti Allah, Makbana Waiting, and Fulani leader. He came out and debunked Sanusi. In front of say, this North 9 feet the whole Nigeria before the advent of the discovery of oil. Feed the Nigeria not anything like that. Is it that or something like that not happen? Please,
this is original document. Maybe, just maybe, it was in a different planet. Okay, that the Abdullahi or whoever is talking from. We have here a element of original document. You know why they are doing that? It's because they thought we were going to lay our hand on the document again. They thought they have destroyed everything. So that's why I'm not there. And you'll be coming to tell people a story. Evidence. Our own is evidence. So if along the line in this document, we are going to read where they feed the whole of Nigeria. I don't know how they feed the whole Nigeria with granite, because from the time immemorial, the southern Nigeria has been the one feeding everybody. And today, I want us to change the narrative. The narrative we want to change today, from this day, this particular day of April 2023, is that North does not have problem. Okay? Because they have made it to look like or look as if without the South, North will have problem. North don't have problem. They are living their standard life. And we must honor that standard life. We must agree the standard life of the northern Nigeria. We must understand that nomadic people do not live in glass houses like us in the south. This is the difference that we must make very clear. So when they come to tell you people in the north are suffering because of the bad governance and all that, it is not only the south, tell them it's a lie. That is the way of life of northern people. I hope I'm making a point here.
Yes, I want to make it clear and make my people like me understand. Like us with the same way come up. When they say them ban rice, close all the border from the south, open the border from they don't they plant rice, they don't they produce rice, they don't they export rice. And before you know, they show us like 30 pyramids of rice. The end of the day, we come to say that carpenter do the work. Carpenters do work with spackle, with stick 2x2. Knock planks and pyramid, they can't put rice by the side. Could that be the same granite pyramid they talk about?
Will you ever believe? Yeah, but the pyramid again. Will you ever believe? Will you ever believe? Will you ever believe in this your life? You that is talking. Nigeria will build Paco, build something and put rice on top and call it pyramid. You will never believe that.
Now, I would like to debunk you again. You say at a time the bag of rice will come down to 27,000. Then will come buy the rice after it never happened. It will never happen.
This is a bag of rice.
But it's something. You know what happened?
No, I'm just giving an example. You see, why I use that narrative? Like I was just giving that scenario.
I mean, they do not trust people. I think we don't die for you.
At all.
Now, the last and the most important one is to the people of Benue. According to the document you just read, the briefing, they don't mention Benue in any way. Bringing this way, we will pass that other country.
Yeah.
How you Benue? The roadmap and the Benue annihilation, the Middle Belt annihilation.
Yes.
The British don't value them. The British didn't even put the Middle Belt into consideration while amalgamating.
Yes.
They ceded all that places to the Fulani.
Yes.
So,
but yet they understand that they are different. Are you there? Oh, we lost him and it was making sense. We lost him and he was making sense. He was making a whole lot of sense. Are you there?
yeah, I'm here. It's me again. It's me again.
Go ahead. So, yeah, you want to say something?
Whatever the Benue people are going, it is the blueprint from Britain to Fulani to annihilate those people, and it's doing it accordingly. That is why the plight of the Benue people is not touching the Britain at all, because they despise them. They did not consider Benue into the amalgamation. No. They don't call Benue anything. They handed Benue to Fulani. So precipitate them, will bring about their anger and let them rise up and defend not one or Lugard or one anybody to send them over to Fulani and give
them the free go ahead to kill them and wipe them out.
Oh yeah, ẹ máa gbọ́. Parents, listen to your children. Hey, we are the. Shut up, Obi. Leader, wọ́n parọ́ fún yín ni. We are not leader of tomorrow. Ẹ tó wà ń bẹ láti 1984, òun ló tún wà ń bẹ ẹ̀sìn. You are not wait, ọmọ bí ẹ̀yin àmọ̀kọ́tà ń ṣe o. Àmọ̀kọ́tà ń ṣe o. Leader of tomorrow, wọ́n yẹ sọ fáwọn náà school nìyẹn o. Leader àgbèrò lápadà wá ṣe o. Ẹ̀yin ò ní ṣe leader àgbèrò. Ẹ̀ ní ṣe leader àgbèrò. Olórí burúkú ni wọ́n.
Inna and inna. But me not sure everybody know what do. Don't take it personal, don't take it personal.
I think that for democracy to work, only people who can accept paying of ticket should participate in an election.
Some people they write to me, them email me. Some people come my DM me, them message me. Some people call me for phone and then tell me say, wait till make you know sing again. They wait for you to come out
I beg you. Tell us something now. Now, if I must sing, you must do chukumot. If I must sing, you must do dance. If I must sing, you must respond. Are you ready to chukumot? Yes. Yes, we know say Nigeria na comedy TV and everything na caricature. So you respond me caricature. Let's go. Them say our judicial system caricature, educational system caricature, our hospital caricature. What about the security? Caricature. Electricity caricature. For one big city caricature. Job employment caricature. After graduation caricature. Our banking system caricature. Our entire country now, our entire system now, our ministries, our electoral system now, our national anthem now. Problem day for Nigeria, problem day country I live, problem day for Nigeria, problem since independence. The people suffer, the people nyama. The people lie to themselves that they are united. Since 1960, the people vote, no they count. The people voice, no they speak. Democracy, it don't die for Nigeria. Now make me and my people say we no go vote. But many Nigerians say they must to vote. Them don't say they want to create new Nigeria. Them create a song, them create a party, say na obedient movement. They come out in numbers, they bring their PVC. Fake pastors see vision. They say them see a better Nigeria. They say them see a new Nigeria. They put with their PVC. All the what they make time for Nigeria. See as they rob these people for a koro. I know say no go work because Nigeria is a failed country, a failed state. Caricature. There is no free and fair election for Nigeria. You are only free to rig the election in Nigeria. I just say them say. I never get the aura. Where they job sacrifice. If you want win election, you go pay sacrifice to INEC Oracle for him to do the magic. Government magic, electoral magic, rigging the magic. I say the night before election, INEC Oracle disappear. INEC Oracle reappear. He reappear for Lekki. Collecting sacrifice worth of $170 million. Now the money them take by Nigeria for another 8 years. $170 million. And the first can be the last, and the last can be the first. Unobedient complain, unobedient comply. Their PDC could not change their problem for Nigeria as INEC sell $170 million. And the Lord said, and the Lord prophesied unto me, and I saw the Lord say, and the Lord said, the new presidency that is coming is going to make something fine. Our electoral system, educational system, our hospital, what about the security? Electricity, for one big city, job employment, after graduation, our banking system, our entire country, our entire system, our ministries, our judicial system, our national anthem now. Nigerian political system is occupied by ancestors. Only ancestors will get mine for rigging. She be make I talk, she be make I talk, I beg you talk. She be make I talk, talk. She be make I yarn, I beg you yarn. The money you define, talk. She be make I talk, I beg you talk, I I just say the money when you define. Some people the whole I'm making. I just say the money we own and define. And some politicians the whole I'm making. They make money no rich people. They make money constant. Them distract the people with the money palava, but the ball game na region. Then turn Nigeria money to audio money just to achieve the region. I hear say somebody create the server. I make it connect to the server. When I make it data finish and I make it no get it data to proceed for the election for Nigeria. Our electoral system, educational system, hospital, what about the security? Electricity, for one big city, job employment, after graduation, our banking system, our entire country, our entire system, our ministries, our judicial system, our national anthem. Nigeria, sorry. Don't worry, I'm going to see for God. And if you don't do everything by every possible means to disintegrate this contradiction called Nigeria, Somalia will be a paradise compared to Nigeria. Words of the wise man where they kidnap and put for prison, a prisoner of conscience. After court grant and bail, they no green release them. And nobody chook mouth put. Now on I want go to that same court for mandate. Sorry you.
Oh yeah, ẹ máa gbọ́. Parents, listen to your children. Hey, we are the. Shut up, Obi. Nígbà wọ́n parọ́ fún yín ni.
It's M. Josh on the beat.
In Nigeria still they shake to break. After 54 years in Nigeria still they shake to separate. Lives don't go, people don't buy, things don't spoil. But you could saw the death, but you could fight the death, but you could try to stop and slow. Nigerian government refused. Somewhere for Ghana them discuss restructuring. There was problem and they agreed to restructure Nigeria. On the 4th and 5th of January 1967, General Gowon Ideja, him accepted the Aburi Accord. General Ankara Ideja, Colonel Ujuku Ideja, and they accept the Aburi Accord, and they must accept restructuring. But when they come back Nigeria, Nigeria government refused the deal. Them causing problem. They fight people into theory. Them execute genocide on us and them call them war. Yeah, them kill my people plenty. Them call them war. Them kill our mama. Them kill our papa. Them kill our uncle. Them kill our aunt. Them kill small children, yo. Them kill 5 million people, yo. Them kill the people where demand for restructuring, yo. Demand for restructuring. After 54 years, them still they kill, them still they shoot, them still they die. But today, everybody they run, health scared. Everybody they run, heads gunmen they kill, terrorists to shoot, government to thief. God don't reject Nigeria. Devil don't punish Nigeria. Nigeria government to kill my people for genocide. Our part the situational understatement. Now everybody that you come out for the matter. As this matter won't carry many people go. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting happen we know call. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting make way no call. Nigeria they like this today because nobody talk the truth. Nigeria they like this today because government na lie. Them go use a shit for church and media go claim the shit. In our curriculum for school, yo, them not teach us our history. Now where we go learn, now how we go learn. Women on the can come save us. Nigerian government teaches them. Nigeria government arrest them. Nigeria government to shoot them. Them using media pink and black. They making Nigerians hate the truth. Now which day where we go wake up? Now which time where we go stand? Nigerians no one here. Nigerians no one truth. Nigerians no one land. We they dance to the government tune. Them they kill us, them they do us. Them deceive us, them confuse us. Hey, they give our land to strangers, yo. Our eyes come open. They give our land to strangers, yo. Nigerians come wake up. Suddenly, yo. Yeah, what don't happen? Nigerians they talk, he say they want restructure. Suddenly, you're waiting, no juku, see it don't happen, no. Nigerians they talk, he say they want restructuring. Namdi Kalu wake Nigerians, everybody come open eye, yo. Nigerians they cry, he say they want restructuring. Plenty of my people who want a referendum, them no want restructuring, yo. Nigerians they cry, he say they want restructuring. God don't reject Nigeria. Devil don't punish Nigeria. Nigeria government to kill my people for genocide. Our part the situation understatement. Now everybody that you come out for the matter. As this matter won't carry many people go. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting happen we know call. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting make way no call.
Okay, here we draw the curtain. That Biafran. Here we go. More Biafran. We don't work out. See you all. See you all. See you all.
Okay, bye. Everybody, bye. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like the video before you shut down. Thank you. God bless you all.
Aburiako. Now waiting happen we know call. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting make way no call. After 54 years in Nigeria, still they shake to break. After 54 years in Nigeria, still they shake to separate. Life's don't go, people don't buy, things don't spoil. But you could saw the bet, but you could fight the bet. But you could try to stop and slow, but Nigerian government refuse. Somewhere for Ghana, them been discuss restructuring. There was problem and they agreed to restructure Nigeria. On the 4th and 5th of January 1967, yo. General go one day ya. Him accepted the Aburi Yako. General Ankara Idedia. Colonel Uchuku Idedia. And they accept the Aburi Yako. And they must accept restructuring. But when they come back Nigeria, oh, Nigeria government refused the deal. Them causing problem. Then they fight people into theory. Them execute genocide. And them call them away. Them kill my people plenty. Them call them war. Them kill our mama. Them kill our papa. Them kill our uncle. Them kill our aunt. Them kill small children, yo. Them kill 5 million people, yo. Them kill the people where demand for restructuring, yo. Them other people who where demand for restructuring. After 54 years, them still they kill, them still they shoot, them still they gun. But today, everybody they run, helter skelter. Everybody they run, headsmen they kill, terrorists to shoot, government to thief. God don't reject Nigeria. Devil don't punish Nigeria. Nigeria government to kill my people for genocide. About the situation and understatement. Now everybody that you come out for the matter. As this matter one carry many people go. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting happen we know call. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Nigeria they like this today because nobody talk the truth. Nigeria they like this today because government na lie. Them go use the ammunition for church and media go clean the shit. In our curriculum for school, yo, them not teach us our history. Now where we go learn, now how we go learn. When them the can come save us. Nigerian government teaches them. Nigeria government arrest them. Nigeria government to shoot them. Them using media pink and black. Them making Nigerians hate the truth. Now which day where we go wake up? Now which time we go stand? There's no one here. Nigerians no one truth. Nigerians no one learn. We they dance to the government tune. Them they kill us, them they do us. Them deceive us, them confuse us. Hey, they give our land to strangers, yo. Our eyes come open. They give our land to strangers, yo. Nigerians come wake up. Suddenly, yo. Yeah, what don't happen? Nigerians they talking, say they want restructuring. Nah, make it up. Suddenly, you know, and they know. Suddenly, you're waiting, no juku, say it don't happen, no. Nigerians they talking, say they want restructuring. Namdi Kalu wake Nigerians, everybody come open eye, yo. Nigerians they cry, say they want restructuring. Plenty of my people who want a referendum, them no want restructuring, yo. Nigerians they cry, say they want restructuring. God don't reject Nigeria. Devil don't punish Nigeria. Nigeria government to keep my people for genocide. About the situation and understatement. Now everybody that you come out for the matter. As this matter one carry many people go. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako. Now waiting happen we know call. Let's talk about Aburiako. Now waiting happen for Aburiako. Now waiting they discuss for Aburiako.